The playoffs are here for the Summer 18 season in Connecticut, and just when you thought I was gone, I'm back to break it all down for you guys. You had Feldman for a week. It was short-lived, but your real host is back. We are joined by the full crew as well, just in time for the Week 9 post-game show. As I was saying before we started, the most important post-game show. We're going to break down Week 9 a little more quickly than usual and get to those first-round matchups and what two teams earned the bye, which is why we were playing that entire regular season. Every team does make the playoffs. The seeding matters. The byes are going to matter. And we'll get to those first-round matchups in a second. Hi, everybody. Some big stuff to get to today. You know all them by now. Their names will appear across the bottom. Connor Sauer taking charge of the post-game editing. He'll get to that. Tyler Feldman behind the camera, and Greg Horn making his way over, as always, a lovely wave. The Weekly Rebound has some stuff to get to this week as well. Tune into the podcast for full playoff coverage as we get to who's playing who on Monday, August 6th. It's August. We need some type of wordplay for August Madness. It doesn't flow properly. Brendan, get on that for me. I don't know what you want to come up with, but awesome August. Weird. That's all for you to get to. But let's start with the team that is the lone undefeated team, Shocker City. They did earn that #1 spot and one of the byes. They took care of nothing easy. We'll start with that game. 69-64 from Week 9. We'll tell you who's playing who in a second. But first, what'd you guys see? I mean, a closer game than maybe we expected. Nothing easy. The 7 seed, as we kind of reveal the seeding as we go along. But what'd you guys see from Shocker and nothing easy in Week 9?
Well, Shocker didn't really have it tonight. I mean, they didn't play their best game, but like what they said, like they have so many good players, and even when they don't play their best, they pull out a victory. I mean, can't discredit nothing easy though. They're not a team I would want to go up against in the playoffs, especially as a 7 seed.
Yeah, nothing easy. Definitely played a heck of a game, kept it competitive all throughout. The only thing, Shocker City turned their defensive pressure up in the third quarter, where nothing easy only scored 8 points. So that was the real difference maker in the game.
We mentioned Shocker City getting the bye. Nothing easy as the 7 seed takes on the 10 seed in the first round. Think of those NCAA tournament, matchups, 7-10. And your 10 seed is Jays, Trays, and Fadeaways. 10 seed at, let me get the record right, 3-6. So we'll go over the tiebreakers for that in a second. But Jays took down the Blue Devils tonight, who are the 11 seed, so that's how that game mattered. It's 1 seed difference. But Jays did beat the Blue Devils tonight. What did you guys see from Jays, Trays, and Fadeaways?
I thought Jays, Fadeaways, they played great. Eddie Giovanni came back and played. He scored a decent amount of points, 13 points, 8 rebounds, and both he and Joe Nemchek combined for 40 of their team's 57 points. So when that duo is intact, they're a much better team than when one of them is missing.
The Blue Devils had the game in their hands again, and they threw it away yet again, like we've seen all season.
And so let's get to some of those tiebreakers. So the team had the same record. It starts with head-to-head. Okay? Now, if the two teams played, that's how you'd use the tiebreaker. So, for example, Rim Breakers and Run TMC, both 8-1. Those teams didn't play. So head-to-head goes out the window, and then we're doing RPI. Of course, I didn't write down those two teams' RPI, but I have everyone else's. And if there's a 3-way tie, which we had with the 3 and 6 teams, Sportslook, Dinner Serve, and Jays, and the 2 and 7 seeded teams, Blue Devils, Hunchos, and Young Kings, all of those teams didn't all play each other. Okay? So even if one of those teams beat the other, if all 3 didn't play, you throw out head-to-head and go strictly on RPI. And so we'll give you a full rundown of all those tiebreakers in a second. You'll have to trust us for now. So we mentioned the Blue Devils, the 11 seed. They will take on the 6-seeded Throne in that 11-6 matchup in the first round. And so the Throne lost today to Nick Strong. That's how they got in the 6th seed. Nick Strong is 6-3, the Throne 5-4. Let's start with that game, Throne and Nick Strong. 72-54. It's closer than that throughout. We thought the Throne would make a run, and they did, but it was Nick Strong who was able to get the win, and so they are the 5 seed while the Throne is the 6 seed. What did you guys see from the Throne and Nick Strong in their last regular season action?
The Throne tonight just got outworked by Nick Strong. Nick Strong really brought it. They brought the energy. They brought the hustle. And they really beat him at their own game physicality-wise. They were bullying them down low. They outworked them 40-28 on the rebounds. The Throne never went away, and yes, it was a closer game than the final score indicates. But at the end of the day, Nick Strong earned that win, and they're real team that I do not want to see in the playoffs.
Yeah, they're starting to click. And we have Nick Strong at the 5. The Throne at the 6. We already went over their first round matchup. Nick Strong as the 5 seed takes on the 12 seeded Head Hunchos, who was one of those teams tied with 2 and 7 as their record. And so we have the 5-12 as Nick Strong Head Hunchos. The Head Hunchos today, to get to that 12 seed, lost to the Rim Breakers. We already talked about them. They are the 2 seed getting the other bye with Shocker City. But what did you guys see from Rim Breakers and Head Hunchos? 111-66. Not a lot to talk about. I know the Rim Breakers were having a lot of fun during that game. But what did you guys see from Rim Breakers and Hunchos today?
Yeah, they were definitely having a lot of fun. 111 points. Gerald McLeese had 28. Chris Leak 26. Kevon Turnbull. They have so many good players and weapons that they can score. They can score really in many ways, which is why they're the 2 seed in this bracket.
And from the Head Honchos, I think it's important to mention Brett Cody. He played a great game. He did as much as he could. And Keegan Carey had another solid game for the Honchos, but Kevin Bott, a big man, he just had 2 points. And when he's going up against a guy like Kevon Turnbull or Gerald McLeese, the big man for the Rim Breakers, it's tough to score points against those guys that clog the middle.
And so just to kind of recap, Shocker City 1, Rim Breakers 2, Run TMC with an 8-1 record because of their RPI. It was lower than the Rim Breakers. They are the 3 seed. Today they beat the Young Kings, 93-73. So we know Run TMC is the 3, and that means they take on the 14 seeded above the Rim. We'll get to them in a second. The Young Kings are the 13 seed. They get a 4-seeded Team Moose, and that's how that fell because of the RPI, the Young Kings. We'll get to that in a second. But what'd you see from Young Kings and Run TMC tonight? Young Kings only 4 guys, and that's always hard to do. And Run TMC had their full team once again to close out the season.
Not only did they have 4 guys, they were missing their best scorer, Miles Raymond, so, that was a huge problem for them. But Dante Abate and Eddie Whitman both had Dante with 37 points, Eddie with 31 points. They had a monstrous game without their best scorer, so, they still put up good numbers, but you guys, took care of business.
For sure. And so we mentioned the Young Kings as the 13 will take on Team Moose, right? How did Team Moose get to the 4 seed? Well, they won today to improve to 7-2. They beat Dinner Served, who is 3-6 as the 9 seed. This is going to be an awesome transition. I think I know what I'm doing. Team Moose today, 87-64. It was a classic Team Moose performance from what I heard. Brad Seaman, another triple-double, a made-up stat that no one really cares about except Brad Seaman. What did you guys see from Team Moose as they took down Dinner Served?
Yeah, it was my first time watching Team Moose in an entire game, and they really moved the ball well. They have a very deep lineup, and everyone's on the same page. It seems like, as you said, Brad Seaman led the way. He kind of did it all tonight, but Kevin Blake had 18 points, and they really just exposed Dinner Serve, a depleted Dinner Serve, who really only have 2 guys that consistently bring it every week.
And so we know who Team Moose is playing, the Young Kings, the 4-13. Dinner Served is in the 8-9 game with Sportslook, so one of those very interesting first-round games. 8-9 closely seeded teams, going to make for a good game. Dinner Served at 3-6, Sportslook at 3-6, the 8 seed. They got to 3-6 by beating Above the Rim today, who finishes the season with their 1 win. But what did you guys see from Sportslook? They had 4 guys, and it was a 40-point win. I think they scored the first 18 or 20 points of the game. Was the first game here tonight. What did Sportslook show you tonight?
Even though they only had 4 guys, I think they had 3 of their best 4 players, probably all of their best players today, which definitely helped them. But Tyrell Holmes had another big game for them. I think if they get more guys and have someone to rest, another team I wouldn't want to play in the playoffs when they're healthy too.
Yeah, they absolutely dominated from the start and never looked back. I mean, winning a game 87-47, putting up 87 points with 4 guys is impressive, and then beating another team by 40 is also. I've been saying it all year, if they could get more guys, they're going to be a scary team. Tonight they beat up on a weaker team. So in the playoffs, I want to see them get 5-6 guys, put it all together, and make a run.
And we'll see if they can be here again first round Monday, August 6th. Let's preview some of these matchups. So the full bracket will be on Instagram and Facebook on Wednesday. By the time you're watching this, that'll make things much more clear. And we'll have a full seating with RPIs listed on the site. You can go to that post. It'll be a table as well. Just to quickly go over this, it went Sportslook, Dinner Served, then Jays of the 3 and 6 teams. So that would be the 8 seed, 9 seed, 10 seed, Jays, Strays, and Fadeaways. And then for the 2 and 7s, Blue Devils had the best RPI by 4 1,000ths of a point. So when Blue Devils, Head Hunchos, Young Kings, So the Young Kings come in at 13, Blue Devils at 11. I'm going to give you guys these first round matchups. We can pick a couple and touch on them, and you guys can pick your favorite one and that you're most looking forward to and why. So we have Shocker City and Rim Breakers getting a bye. Not going to be talking about them until next week. 8-seeded Sportslook gets 9-seeded Dinner Served. 4-seeded Team Moose gets 13 Young Kings. 5th-seeded Nick Strong, 12-seed Head Hunchos. 3-seed TMC, 14-seed Above the Rim. 6-seeded Throne, 11-seeded Blue Devils. 7, Nothing Easy. 10, Jays, Trays, and Fadeaways. So you guys can give me, if you don't remember the matchups, give me one of the teams. I'll tell you who they're playing. But we'll start down there with Slats. Which one of those matchups are you most looking forward to?
Just as I was talking about the Sportslook teams.
Sportslook Dinner Served, 8-9.
That's going to be a really fun game to watch. I see two teams that are both competitive, both physical, and I'm really looking forward to it. But at the end, I think Sportslook, I'm really buying into Sportslook. I think they're going to make a little run. I think they're going to beat them.
And as a 3-6 team, right, we kind of say their record doesn't always depict how good that team can be. If they were to win, they would get Shocker City, and that's, you know, we say this every year. There's always that 1 8 or 9 team that's better than their seed, than their record. And that's going to be interesting for Shocker, a team that definitely won't be scared of them if Sportslook was to advance. What team / matchup?
I like the Nothing Easy Jays, Trays, and Fadeaways
7-10. Yep.
I think Nothing Easy is on a good run right now, and another team I would not really want to play in the playoffs. And you know, Jays Trays has 2 good players. Maybe they get going, but that should be a good matchup overall.
And if Nothing Easy was to win, or whoever wins that 7-10 does get the Rim Breakers as the 2 seed. So again, that quarterfinals when the teams with the bye come in gets a little interesting. Sean?
I like the Throne Blue Devils matchup.
6-11.
Yeah, the Throne maybe not as impressive as we expected this season, and the Blue Devils are a team who could definitely pull up an upset just because of the pure talent on their roster. So I'm interested to just see that matchup.
Nice. All right, Darren?
I would have to go with the Nick Strong matchup. Nick Strong are playing
they're playing
the
Head Honchos,
yeah.
5-12.
If Nick Strong plays one of those inconsistent games, you know, Brett Cody can definitely take it to another notch, I think, and give Nick Strong that matchup that they don't want to see in the playoffs.
Yep.
And I guess I'll take Run TMC.
You don't have to.
And Above the Rim. Maybe.
You want to pick any other one?
I do like that matchup. I mean,
All right, go ahead. I'm not
I
gonna
really
lie.
do think Above the Rim today, especially, they got blown out. They weren't on the same page. They weren't cohesive. But in their one win of the season, they showed a little flash of something. And I don't know if their big three, Eric Winley, Eddie Caesar, and Purcell Boyd, can get something going. Who knows? Who knows what they can do against Joey Zaka's Run TMC?
All right,
Who knows?
so
Who knows?
we're going to get to the last thing here, your most likely upset. And so if do you want me to reread the matchups?
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to go down, you get 1 or 2 words, don't pick Above the Rim, for your most likely matchup.
Never know.
Could it
All
be
right?
like a round 2 matchup?
No, round 1, first round, here we go. So Sportslook gets Dinner Served, Moose Young Kings, Nick Strong Head Hunchos, TMC Above the Rim, Throne Blue Devils, Nothing Easy Jays. And so if you don't, if you pick whatever, if you get the seating wrong, it's fine. Which one do you like is your most likely upset?
I think I should say off the bat, I believe Eddie Giovanni is not going to be there during the playoffs for Jays,
Okay.
but I'm still going to pick Jays to upset and win.
All right. Okay, so that's more than 2 words, but I like it to be Nothing Easy.
Sorry.
I would have went with that, but since
Okay.
Eddie is not going to be here, I'm going to go with the Head Honchos.
Okay, over Nick Strong, the 12-5. Always a nice pick when you're filling out your March Madness bracket.
I agree with Darren. I'm going to go with
Head
the Head
Honchos.
Honchos, Brad
Wow.
Cody, Danny Bartoli, taking the Honchos.
I'll go with the Blue Devils.
Okay, over the Throne.
Yeah.
6-11. Okay.
Yeah, and I'm going to have to go with the Head Hunchers too, just because
Wow.
Brett Cody
Wow.
and sometimes the inconsistency we see from Nick Strong, who've played great, don't get me wrong,
Right.
they've played great recently, but it's the one I could say.
So who's driving the Head Honchos bus? Like which one of you 3 is like the ringleader here? Do we know who's in charge? No, you're all just hot. All right, cool. So we have a lot of Head Honchos love. That was unexpected. That's where we're going to end it, I think. Wow. So stay tuned to the Weekly Rebound Podcast. This was the post-game show. We'll have the bracket up, as I mentioned. If you're wondering about the RPIs and why you're seated where, that'll be on the side as well. We're doing top plays, no power rankings because we have playoff seeding to get to, and we're going to preview every first-round matchup with a nice article throughout the weekend, leading up to all 6 first-round matchups on Monday, August 6th from InSports. Tyler Feldman's dying behind the camera. He's giving me that look like you should listen to the Weekly Rebound, featuring Connor Sauer and Greg Horn and Mike Slattery who has been joining them. What are you guys going to do with Slat? Do we know? You're going to make him pick some upsets or fill out his bracket? Slattery's not here. Slattery's not here this week. Breaking news. So if you're tuning in to the Weekly Rebound from Mike Slattery, you're going to be sorely mistaken when you get to the whole thing and realize there is no Mike Slattery. Tune into the Weekly Rebound. Clearly we're prepared for this show. Thanks, guys. Very good job. The playoffs start in August. We'll see you on the 6th for the first round.